Find the following for the function: intercepts, vertex, maximum or minimum, and the range. The first one asks us for the intercept, so I'm going to write our equation out. G of x equals negative x plus 3 squared plus 9. Now, they want the y-intercept, so I'm going to draw a little Cartesian plane here. And let's say this is my y-intercept. Now, this ordered pair is going to be 0 for the x and some number for the y. That means I'm going to put 0 in for x to get my y value. As we do that, this is function notation, so all I'm going to do is put 0 in for x and rewrite my equation. Let's do some solving. 0 plus 3 is 3. Hopefully you remember orders of operations say we have to do what's in parentheses first, which I did, and square. So 3 squared is 9. 9 plus 9 is 0. So g of 0 is 0, which means our y-intercept is 0, 0. Now, I have no idea why it let me do that, but 0 is it. Next it says, that's so strange. Next it says, select the correct choice, all right? Find the x-intercept. I'm going to rewrite the equation. G of x equals negative x plus 3 squared plus 9. Now I'm going to make my plane again. And this could be possibly our x-intercept. Now that means in the ordered pair, x is some value and y is 0. So we're going to put 0 in for y. So now instead of putting 0 in for the x here, we're actually going to call g of x is 0. So negative x plus 3 squared plus 9. Now you might have remembered 100 years ago when you did this, we have something squared. So I'm going to use the square root property. But to do that, I want the squared on the left side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say plus. Now you could have said minus 9 and that would have had the x squared by itself. But I just think it's super easier when things are positive. All right. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the square root of both sides. Hopefully you remember that the square and the square root cancel. So we end up with x plus 3 equals, the square root of 9 is 3 plus or minus 3. This is going to give us actually two equations. X plus 3 equals the positive 3, and x plus 3 equals the negative 3. Let's solve. So we're going to have x equals 0, so that's one of our x-intercepts, minus 3, so x equals negative 6 is our other x-intercept. Okay, yay! Now it asks us to find the vertex. Now the vertex is super cool. Now we have a vertex formula, and that says y equals a x minus h squared plus, k. Now I'm going to write down our equation right underneath it. And we can say g of x, it's no big deal. Now the vertex is h, k. When I look at my h value, it's the opposite of what we see. So we're going to write negative 3. And then my k value is 9. So negative 3, 9 is our vertex. Yay! Now we have to determine if the function is a maximum or a minimum. And we're going to go right back to this equation that we have here. Now, when I look at my a value, if a is negative, it's going to be a sad face. It's going to look something like that. If a is positive, it's going to look something like that. So when I look here, I have a negative. It's a sad face. But this point we call the maximum. If it was positive, this point is called the minimum. So for ours, we're going to have a maximum. Maximum or minimum value? Oh my gosh. Well, We actually already figured that out. We figured it out when we did the vertex. The minimum or maximum value is your y value in the vertex. Yay! The range. Oh my goodness. Well, we have to think about that for a moment. We know that our vertex is at -3, 9. So -3, I'm going to say about here, 9. Okay, so here's our vertex. We also know that our x-intercepts are at 0 and -6. So -6 is about here. So if I draw this picture, make this a little bit darker. There we are. It's going to look something like this. Now they're asking us for the range. And the range always talks about the y values. Now when I look at my vertex, I'm looking right here. My largest y value is going to be 9. Now how do I know that? Because my y value is 9. Since this is the maximum, 9 is going to be the largest y value. What is my minimum going to be? Well, here's the deal. We're going down, down, down to -infinity. So our range will be parentheses, -infinity. Now remember, we always use a parentheses for infinity, comma, 9, and a bracket. And we have a bracket because we're including 9. They ask us to type an inequality or in interval notation. I like interval notation, but if we want to write it as an inequality, we could say y is less than or equal to 9. We are going to have, -infinity, comma, 9, and then we're going to have a bracket. Yay!